What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for some more streams for you guys, and we've got some transfer news to talk about today. A few bits and pieces to get through, but let's start off with Ivan Perisic. Romano was saying earlier today that Perisic will fly to London today in order to undergo his medical as a new Tottenham player. Perisic will be in England in the coming hours also to meet again with Antonio Conte and sign the contract with Spurs. 2-year deal agreed. Here we go, confirmed. And then DiMarzio did follow on from that and says Ivan Perisic has arrived in London ahead of undergoing his medical this afternoon. Dan Kilpatrick says Ivan Perisic due to complete a free transfer to Spurs today. He is expected to sign a 2-year deal worth £100,000 a week. And Ali Gold says Conte and Paratici believe that Perisic can help mentor and push Ryan Sessegnon to develop as a wing-back, a duo to share the large amount of matches on offer next season with Spurs returning to the Champions League.
Yeah, very exciting. Very exciting about Ivan Perisic joining Spurs. This seems to be nearly done and dusted now. Bit of conflicting reports as opposed to Dan Kilpatrick and I think Jack Pitbrook both said that he stayed at Hotspur Way last night. Yet Romano and DiMarzio both saying he flew into London this morning. So I'm not sure who's correct because I'm just thinking if he did stay last night, maybe he could have done to the promotional stuff and maybe this for the socials and stuff already. That might be done. So we could get an announcement today. But if he flew in today, I think it's unlikely we'll get an announcement today.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. But either way, look, I'm very excited. I know Perisic is 33 years old, and a lot of people are obviously using that to say he's, it's not worth signing him on big money when he's going to be gone in 2 years. But I think this is a player who's got supreme consistency over a long period of time. He's just got into Serie A team of the season. He's won the league under Conte. He's always won for the big game as well. I think he's a very good talent. He's got his stamina and physicality at his age is phenomenal. He, even though he's 33, he doesn't play like a 33-year-old whatsoever. And I think it's a deal that makes sense. No transfer fee we're paying. I know it's $100,000 a week, but for a player of his quality, it's worth it. And Conte knows it. I'm sure they would have done their research. Obviously, you have deals like Willian going to Arsenal and Liechtensteiner and that happened in your thing, and your mind casts back to that and you're thinking, is this going to be one of those deals where we've paid big money and then all of a sudden his legs are gone and we won't be able to shift him? But I'm confident that Conte wouldn't have brought him in if he was any worries about that. And the fact that he's just come off a brilliant season at Inter Milan tells me that this could be a very, very shrewd signing from Spurs.
Look, he's aging like a fine wine, Perisic is, and I watched him quite a bit last season. He is absolutely sensational from what I saw. So Arsenal fans were tweeting out pictures of Liechtensteiner with the tag being like Perisic to Tottenham with a picture of Liechtensteiner. And if they think that's what it's going to be like, then they've got another thing coming. I'm super excited about this signing. Would I have preferred Kostic? Maybe a little bit just because of the age and the longevity. I think Perisic will come in. He'll help out Ryan Sessegnon massively. What a great guy to learn off. The professionalism, the attitude, and also the way he plays his football, I think, is second to none. I mean, the stats really speak for themselves from last year. So it really is a signing that I'm very excited about. Obviously, you do have to worry about the age a little bit because after this season, he's going to go into next season, 34 years age. He'll turn 35 midway through next season. So you're thinking about it and you're thinking maybe Ryan Sessegnon can take up the mantelpiece next season. But for this season alone, I think he's going to be a brilliant asset for us. I really believe that.
You look at the Champions League final, you got Modric, who's 36, playing in centre mid. You got Benzema, who's 34, playing up front. You got Toni Kroos, who's 35. Players are lasting a lot longer at the moment, and I don't think it's anything to be too overly concerned about, considering how he's playing at the moment. I think the thing with Ryan Sessegnon, I absolutely agree. I think Perisic has got a lot of qualities to teach him and to show him about, especially getting into the box, being more of a threat in the final third. And you've got to remember, Perisic is definitely a winger playing at wing back. So we're going to be a lot more of an attacking threat now when we go forward, especially with him on the side. And he's so two-footed as well. I was amazed when I saw him taking a penalty with his right foot in the final of the Coppa Italia. I was like, I swear he was left-footed. I was like, I could have put any money on this guy being left-footed, and yet he's taking penalties with his right foot. And then he took a penalty with his right foot and then smashed in a 25-yarder with his left. It's like this guy doesn't have a weaker foot, and he's very versatile as well. So I think that's also a massive thing going in his favour. And look, is there an argument to say, considering what we were doing last summer, it was obviously we were going in a different way in the project, having Nuno and getting young players, and now under Conte, it's going to be very, very different. No, this is a clear indication of that. But should we be going in the direction of signing too many older players on big wages? Could that be detrimental to our future, do you think? As long as it's kept to a minimum, it's not an issue.
Yeah, I think as long as it's kept to a minimum. I mean, when you're looking at the deal from the outside, you're talking about 2 years only. It's not like it's a long 5-year contract like when Willian got. I mean, he got like a 3-4 year contract.
3-year deal with the option to extend.
I mean, when you're looking at this, you're talking about 2 years, which is not a long time at all. At 100 grand a week as well. I mean, Arsenal just offered Eddie Nketiah 100 grand a week.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the levels of the two players. I mean, so far they're worlds apart. You know what I mean? So I don't have an issue with that at all. And I actually am majorly for it, because that makes me look like that we're going Antonio Conte's way, and that's what we all wanted. So we can't really complain about it.
Yeah, I'm just hoping we're not in a situation like many clubs have been at, like many big clubs like Arsenal and United, where in a few years' time you've got big players on big wages who are struggling to shift because they were always short-term deals. And the problem with someone like Perisic is if it doesn't work out immediately, then you've got a problem. But all the indications are that it should. There shouldn't be an issue. The only thing is he's never played in Premier League before. He's obviously played Serie A. He's played German Bundesliga. He played for Bayern Munich and for Wolfsburg. So it's a different level physically in the Premier League in terms of the pace of the game and things like that. And also, you could argue potentially how much defending he's going to have to do, maybe at left wing back, compared to when he's at a top club in Italy, when he was there, expected to win the league and stuff, dominating games. So it's a different, obviously, potentially different role and different level he's going to have to face. But look, Conte has complete trust in him. I think he's been having a stellar season. And also, one thing that's also not mentioned enough is how much of a clutch player he is. He has a way of, he scored a brace in the final. He scored in World Cup semi-finals. He scored in a World Cup final. He always usually steps up in a big occasion, which is very vital, something that we need, because a lot of players we have, when it comes to the big occasion, and we freeze or clam up, and we don't have those moments. So having someone like him who's been there, done it, and scored in these big moments is going to be vital, and that experience is going to bring as well. So I think it's a very good deal. It was one I'm very, very excited about, and hopefully it's one that Conte's got right.
Absolutely. And, we just have to trust Antonio, and because this is what we've been saying all season. We want the players Antonio wants the players in Antonio's image, and this is what we're starting to see now. And Perisic is a big way in terms of that direction, because it's a direction that we would never have gone in before Antonio Conte came to this club. So those are the facts of the matter. We've got a guest to bring on to talk to you about Ivan Perisic. He's a Roma fan. He's not an Inter Milan fan, but he knows his Serie A very well, and that is Mr. Jack Farr from Box to Box Football. So let's bring him on and let's see what he thinks about this deal, Ivan Perisic coming to Tottenham Hotspur. Jack, how you doing, buddy?
Welcome back, Jack. Can you hear us?
You can't seem to hear us.
How are you doing, guys? I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't.
Oh my God. Sorry, give me 2 seconds here.
It's all right. No. Okay, not sure. Why can't he hear us?
I don't know. Let's bring him off.
Oh, he's all right. He's reconnecting. We'll bring him back on in a sec. One thing about Ivan Perisic as well, that's gonna hopefully take this team to a new level, is the amount of goals and assists that he's going to be getting from the wing back positions. Obviously, at the moment we have Sessegnon and Reguilon, but their output is nowhere near the level of someone like Ivan Perisic, who has a real knack. I think last season he got 8 goals and he got 7 assists in Serie A last season. That definitely takes our wing-back options from an attacking point of view to a different level. And as well, like we don't have a truly attacking wing-back in the squad right now. He's the one who in terms of being a winger who's playing at wing back, he takes it to a new level. Because right now we have 4 fullbacks pretty much who are playing at wing back, and that can obviously be good when you look at the likes of Ashraf Hakimi and stuff like that. But having a winger in that role hopefully takes our attacking threat to an absolute new level next season, and that's something to be very, very excited about. And look, he's been there and he's done it. So I'm very, very excited about Ivan Perisic. Let me know in the comment section below what you think right now about this potential Perisic signing. We're just trying to get Jack back on. For some reason, there was an issue about him being able to hear us. Let's just see if we can get him back on. We're waiting for him to reconnect. All right, one sec. Willian van Rensburg says, does this mean that Kostic is out the door? Do we still want Kostic when we have Perisic? I think it does make the Kostic deal probably unlikely at this point, because unless we're thinking Perisic can play right and left, I do think he's going to be brought in predominantly for the left-hand side. So I do find it unlikely that we also bring in Kostic as well as Perisic.
Yeah, I agree. And what's your feelings on that? Because we spoke before, we both said Kostic was our number 1.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying because I think he could be brilliant for us. But I think, to be honest, I do think Perisic is a better player. As much as I like Kostic, I think Kostic probably has a better delivery than Perisic. But in terms of being a goal threat and on that left-hand side, I do think Perisic has been consistently a better player, especially over his whole career. And even recently, I know Kostic has been brilliant for Frankfurt, but I still think Perisic has had a brilliant season at Inter Milan. So I do think he's a better player. The only thing that obviously was in Kostic's favour is that he's 29 as opposed to 33. So he's got a few years on Perisic, maybe could last longer. And maybe if things didn't go well, you can maybe sell him on for, without losing too much resale or stuff like that. But I'm not too disappointed. It was a close call, to be honest. So I'm pretty happy with Perisic coming in. And maybe the fact that we haven't spent a transfer fee on him allows us a bit more wiggle room in other deals to maybe push the boat out a bit more.
Yeah, which, we've got some news on some other incomings and outgoings, which we've got to speak about later on in the stream. But his camera's not working? Okay, he'll try his phone one more time. We'll try and get him on as soon as possible. I know he's got a bit to say on Ivan Perisic, and he's obviously must be very happy at the moment with Roma, new European champions, albeit the 3rd tier.
Yeah, not sure you can call them the European champions. They have won a European trophy, though, so that's fair enough. Yeah, we'll just bear with us. We'll try and get him back on. But look, looks like we're going to get the ball rolling. I don't know, when do you reckon the announcement will be? Surely it's going to be in the next few days.
Yeah, I imagine so. But can they... I mean, they must be able to announce someone because Villa announced someone, didn't they, before the window was even open. And his contract doesn't even end till the end of June.
Yeah, you can announce he signed a pre-contract though, can't you?
But will he do all the media stuff before then, or will he wait till June or 1st of July?
Yeah,
to announce that?
I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know if he's going on international duty soon or something, because I know his international's coming up soon, so maybe they'll wait till after then. But I think they can definitely announce it, but sometimes Spurs will want to wait to announce it and just wait till then get all the social media stuff ready, so then they can do a big announcement then, get the most attention.
So how many other Croatian players have we had? We have Kranjčar, we had Modric,
Pleticosa,
Korluka. I mean, they've all, apart from Pleticosa, I mean, they're all kind of good servants for the club, weren't they?
Yeah.
All good quality.
We have a good Croatian link.
Yeah, I liked Kranjčar, and Korluka was like the perfect right back to go behind Aaron Lennon. They complemented each other really well, and Modric is Modric.
Yeah, okay. Well, what can you say about Modric? He was an unbelievable player for us, and yeah, I mean, maybe Perisic had a word with some of our former Croatians and asked them about what it's like playing for Tottenham. But obviously, look, Conte knows all about him. That's all he has to know. So I'm very excited about this deal that looks like it's about to go through. And finally, we're going to have a proper threat from the wings now, it looks like, which is something to be even if it's only for a couple of years. Who knows? Maybe he'll surprise us and we'll sign him for another year. You never know. So I'm very, very excited about what Perisic can bring.
How happy are you that, we're seeing deals getting done super early now?
Yeah, I'm very happy. I mean, this deal was probably easy to get done early because of the fact he's on a free. But I am very happy that we're making a move as soon as possible.
You say it was easy to get done early, but Chelsea were in for him, Juventus were in for him, two big clubs, you know what I mean? And he ended up choosing Tottenham, which is a big statement in my opinion, because not many times you would get a player to go to Spurs over Chelsea and Juventus.
True. I mean, we don't know how much truth there. We know Juve there definitely was. I don't know about Chelsea. There were rumours, but I don't know how true it was. They were generally because they can't sign anyone at the moment.
They can't. No, you're right. But Romano did say that he chose Spurs over Chelsea and Juventus.
Maybe he didn't want to wait. A bit like Rudiger, who didn't want to wait as well.
Can you hear us? Can Jack hear us now?
Let's try and.
He says he can't hear or see us.
It's very frustrating. Jack, can you hear us? No. All right. Bear with us, guys. We'll try and sort out the issue. Doesn't seem to be...
What about if you get him on FaceTime and you do thing?
We do it on FaceTime. I don't know if that would be... Can try. Yeah, it would be bad. No, he's disconnected again. All right, what can we do? Should we move on?
1 second.
We'll try one more time. So we do really want to speak to Jack. It's a bit frustrating, unfortunately. We do have these technical issues occasionally.
No, unfortunately, he's going.
He needs to go?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't need to go, but it's just not working.
All right.
All right, sorry about that. We're not going to be able to get Jack on today. Hopefully, we'll try get him on over the next couple of days. But we do have some more news and transfer stories to speak about. And let's go over and talk about Jed Spence now. Obviously, Forest qualified through the playoffs to the Premier League yesterday, winning 1-0 in the final against Huddersfield. And he said after the game, Nottingham Forest means everything to me. Playing for Forest next season? Hopefully. So that kind of puts a bit of cold water on his move to Spurs. Romano said Bayern left the race after signing Mazraoui from Ajax, while Tottenham are still interested, but there's no official bid yet. Sky Sports Lyle says Nottingham Forest plan to bid for Jed Spence and are now more confident of retaining him after they secured promotion. And Charlie Eccleshare says that Antonio Conte would like a new right wing back, and Middlesbrough's Jed Spence is someone Spurs have admired for a while. What's your opinions on this, and do you think that we can still get it over the line, or do you think...
I don't think it's dead. I think, obviously, he's had a great season at Nottingham Forest. It's turned his season around, the fact that he's got into team of the season, and he's earned promotion for them, and he's now become one of the most sought-after wing-backs in England after his performances. So he obviously definitely feels an emotional tie to Forest and how they've allowed him the platform to perform. Especially maybe because I think Neil Warnock might not have before, judging by what he had to say about Neil Warnock in it after the game. He did a tweet.
Do you like that?
He did.
Do you like that in a player?
I mean, I think a lot of the good players have that. Maybe they wouldn't do it publicly, but like Harry Kane says, proving people wrong is what fuels him. So he seems to have the same mentality. I don't think there's anything bad about it. He just wanted to prove him wrong. Maybe it can come across as gloating and whatnot, which is something that people don't like. But look, he's clearly been told by Neil Warnock that he wasn't good enough or something. I don't know. I don't really know the context behind it, to be honest. But clearly something's gone on, and then he's proved him wrong. So fair play to him. I think when he says, look, you got to remember he's still a Middlesbrough player. So he hasn't decided, he's not in no agreement to be a Forest player or anything next season. So when he's asked, does he want to be playing for Forest next season, and when he says hopefully, I think he just means he wants to be in the Premier League, because at the moment he's a Middlesbrough player, right? So obviously if he's got a chance to join Forest, that's assuming that maybe there aren't other deals on the table. If he's got a chance to join Forest, I'm sure he would take it. Doesn't mean if he has a chance to join Spurs, he won't take it as well. Yeah. You know, he wasn't asked, are you going to play for Tottenham next season? And he said, hopefully, you know. He was asked about Forest. So that doesn't surprise me. Obviously, it does make it more unlikely, because the Forest, I'm sure, will try and retain him for next season, because he was a big part of why they got promoted. And he'll maybe feel a sense of loyalty to them, or maybe he'll feel that he wants to complete what he started by getting them promoted and see how they do. And maybe he'll think that there's going to be opportunities for him to leave in the future anyway, so there's no point rushing. But I don't think by any stretch it means that there's definitely no chance we get him either. I still think that if we really want to get the deal done, might maybe be a bit more expensive now, but we can still get it done. But it might be too expensive.
I mean, the tweet was him sitting there with a cigar in his mouth and with the playoff trophy there, and the tweet says, "Oh, where's my manners? Welcome to Twitter." And then he added Neil Warnock with a kissy emoji. And then actually Neil Warnock quote tweeted it and said, "Well done, Jed. I did say you were a Premier League or non-league. Glad you listened and took my advice on board. Now go and enjoy your success. Those cigars won't do you any good, though, son." So, yeah, I mean, I did see that quote from Neil Warnock earlier on the season before he loaned him out. And he says, Jed Spence is either going to be a non-league player or a Premier League player. There's no in between with him. So, that I mean, that clearly shows that Warnock rates him. He just doesn't rate maybe his attitude or something like that.
Well, he looks like he's going to be half right, at least. Definitely going to be a Premier League player. For next season. I'm not sure which team he's going to be at, but he'll definitely be in the Premier League, and I think he deserves it. So I think we'll have to wait and see on this one, see what moving parts goes where, because if Forest get in early, they can definitely tie him down and make sure they get that one over the line. But it doesn't mean that this is dead for us. I wouldn't say just because of that quote it means there's no chance.
And in terms of Spence and maybe some other right wing back targets, I mean, who else would you like to bring in, maybe aside from Spence, if he does end up going to Forest or somewhere else?
I'm sure there are plenty of options for us at right wing back. I mean, who would I like? Potentially Singo from Torino. He's an up and coming one who's also got a high ceiling. He's one I'd definitely look at. I can't remember off the top of my head who I'd want, but
Dumfries.
Yeah, Dumfries. I'd look at him, but he's going to be obviously a bit more expensive. But there are options. Look, we have a scouting network for a reason, and I'm sure they've got a few lined up if Spence doesn't work out.
All right. Well, that is
Mailer. No, sorry, not Mailer. Mukiele, who we're going to talk about later. He's also a good one.
All right, well, that's that on Jed Spence. Let's talk about Alessandro Bastoni now, the name on every Tottenham fan's lips at the moment. Dan Kilpatrick says, as it stands, Bastoni is reluctant to leave Inter. Deal not dead in the water, but Spurs will have to convince him. Although Bastoni is reluctant to leave, the Serie A side are thought to be close to agreeing a deal for Torino centre-back Gleison Bremer, and this may push Bastoni towards the exit, which would open the door again for Spurs. Ali Gold says that Tottenham are set to pursue a deal for Bastoni, with suggestions that Bastoni is keen on a reunion with Conte, but the main hurdle is prizing him away from Inter Milan. Tottenham are set to pursue Conte and Paratici's favourite Bastoni from Inter, who is seen as the heir to Jan Vertonghen's throne.
Sounds good. Look, it was always going to be difficult. I think we're deluding ourselves when we think that someone who loves Inter Milan as much as Bastoni does, it was going to be easy to get him from Inter Milan. I think financially we can probably do the deal, but I think obviously Inter are going to fight to keep him. They're going to fight to get the best deal possible for him, especially as he's one of their best centre backs. So I think it is going to be difficult. Doesn't mean, again, I think there's still a big chance we can get him. As long as we can. I think this is all bartering from Inter Milan, trying to drive the price up as much higher as possible. I do think if we strike a deal with Inter, Conte can convince Bastoni to come. I really believe that, as much as I'm sure Bastoni is happy to stay at Inter Milan. I don't think he's in a rush to leave. I think he's happy there. But if we do strike a deal with Inter, I'm sure Conte can. Bastoni once described Conte as the Messi of coaches. So I think clearly he rates him very, very highly. So I believe a deal can definitely be done. It's just about the negotiation stage with Inter Milan, and then if that goes well, we can get over the line. I believe that, but it's not. It was never going to be easy.
Bastoni probably owes a lot to Conte in his career. He's the one that brought him through. He probably got a lot of his kind of tactical advice off Conte, and really bringing him through the ranks at Inter Milan and giving him his chance to make him the player he is today at such a young age. So I really think that he would like to link up with Conte again, and I think if the deal gets done between the clubs, I don't see Bastoni rejecting us.
I agree. The only one thing that makes me feel like could possibly count against us is the fact that Conte's reputation is a short term, only to be here 1 or 2 years, and would he really want to leave his beloved club Inter Milan just to be under Conte, who might leave? That's obviously something you have to think about. But he'll have to be convinced that Conte is not here for the short term and he's here for the long term, and we're all hoping for that as well. History suggests that might not be the case, but maybe we can change history, and that's what we got to focus on. And if we can convince Bastoni that, look, he's here for the long haul and he's planning on building something at Tottenham, and maybe Bastoni want to be part of that.
Absolutely. So that is Bastoni and Jed Spence. Let's talk about a few other bits and pieces, and let's start off with James Ward-Prowse, as Charlie Eccles says that Tottenham also retain a long-standing interest in Southampton's England midfielder James Ward-Prowse. Which a deal could potentially be done with maybe the likes of Harry Winks going in the opposite direction, a bit like the deal that we did for Højbjerg with Kyle Walker-Peters. You got to remember Højbjerg was the Southampton captain at that time as well, so there is previous there. How much would you like to see Ward-Prowse come through the door?
Yeah, I think it's a very different deal to the Højbjerg deal, because Højbjerg only had a year left, so they had to kind of sell. Ward-Prowse only signed a contract last summer, so.
Yeah, but apparently in that contract there is a top 6 club clause.
Yeah, but how much money? How much is it for? You know what I mean?
It's a lot.
Exactly. It's going to be a big money deal. Is he worth it? I like Ward-Prowse. I think he'd fit in really well under Conte and at Spurs. I think he's a fantastic set piece taker. I think he's really hard work in the central midfield. A very good passer of the ball. Someone we could really utilise, but we're potentially talking 60 million here, and I don't know if that represents good value for the quality we're getting. I think we're getting good quality, but you can probably get similar quality for less than 60 or whatever it's going to cost to get Ward-Prowse in. But if we're convinced that Ward-Prowse is the answer, then pay the money, because I do think he's a very talented player. Maybe if you put him in a better team, he can shine even brighter, because you've got to remember he's the main player at Southampton. He's been carrying them for a while. And maybe you put him around better players, and instead of him carrying a team, maybe if he's a part of a team which was similar quality to him, he'll be even better. But so that's something to consider. But I don't know, 60 million seems very steep to me, or 50, or even 50 million. I would consider 50 million, but it's still quite steep.
You could potentially go for, like, if they do value Winks at a 25 million or 20 million, as we were talking about. I mean, you could look at maybe Winks plus 30 million or something like that. Winks plus 35 million.
Yeah, that would be a good deal.
Figure. I think that would be a very good deal for us. And you got to remember as well, is like teams are going to take advantage of the fact that we need British players, English players to come through the door, because it's been quite evident that we are struggling with this quota. Fraser Forster has come in now, so that's going to be added one with Galini going out the other way. But if Winks goes, then that's another British player out the door, and we need to bring another one in.
Yeah, it's probably another reason why we're after Jed Spence. So, yeah, it makes sense. I think in terms of English centre mids, there's him and there's Calvin Phillips. Depends which one you'd rather. I think They're both similar. Calvin Phillips is probably better off the ball, and Ward-Prowse is probably better on the ball. I think probably Ward-Prowse would be a player that we need more, even though I probably think Calvin Phillips might be the better player. Interestingly enough, but
I'd prefer Ward-Prowse. I think that
just because of what we need.
Because of what we need, and in terms of the set pieces as well, we haven't had a set piece specialist since Eriksen left Spurs, and he went a bit off the boil with his free kicks as well at a certain time. And I think with the amount of free kicks we win, he will get, I think, a minimum of at least 7 goals a season. I think James Ward-Prowse. I really believe that. And I think
assists as well.
Assists as well. I mean, his delivery is just second to none. And with Harry Kane in there, polishing them all off. Heung-min Son as well. Kulusevski. I mean, he would be invaluable to us. I really believe that. We need a proper set piece specialist. We really do. And it's not just his set pieces as well. It's his general play that could really help us. It's not just the set pieces.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that out there.
But the set pieces is what sets him apart.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'd definitely love to bring him in if we can get a deal done. I just don't know if we'll go to if we don't say Winks isn't included. I don't know if we'll go to the full, if we'll break the clause depending on what it is. If it's 60 million, I don't think, or 50 million, I don't know if we do it. But I like him, and I would like him at Tottenham.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the next one, which is Nordi Mukiele. The Mirror are saying that Tottenham are one of the number of clubs looking at RB Leipzig's right back, Mukiele. Obviously, we spoke about him a bit in the transfer targets video. How high up on the list would he be for you in against Jed Spence and all the others that we spoke about?
Yeah, he's been quite consistent now for Leipzig for a while, a couple years. He's been quite good for them for whenever I've seen him. So I think he'd be quite high on my list for signing a right wing back. I like him. I think obviously Spence, due to his him being English and stuff, I would rather him. But Mukiele might be expensive, but I think he'd be a good signing. I think that's one we should definitely look at.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, Christian Eriksen. Dean Jones Soccer, I'm not sure who they are, but they say Tottenham want Christian Eriksen to return to North London and have already held talks with the Brentford man last week, which is good to hear. Do you think this is a deal that's going to get done?
Yeah, we're just hearing different things all the time with Eriksen. Do I think it's a deal that's going to get done? I think he's probably going to wait to see what other offers on the table first, before jumping back into bed with Spurs. But I think that it makes sense for him to come back right now, where we are as a club, how he's playing, what we need as a team as well in the squad. I think it makes complete sense. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes through whatsoever. I would love him back at Tottenham. I think he's been brilliant recently, but. We've been here before, and some people say maybe nostalgia's talking, and maybe the way he left. People say he was bored at Tottenham, he had enough, and whether it'd be right. Some people say you never go back. So, that's also something to consider. But I think he would come back with renewed vigor. He comes back to a club in a different, a different stage than it was when he left. So for me, I think it's definitely one that can make sense. And if we've got the Eriksen that's playing for Brentford right now, who's better than ever, we'll have a real good player on our hands.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just hope that maybe the negotiations with Daniel Levy at the end of his time at Spurs maybe haven't put him off from coming back, because that's the only maybe reason I could see him not coming back. Because with Antonio Conte here, Spurs going in the right direction now, I think it's an attractive proposition. And I think that might be that kind of relationship might be the only snag in the deal that could potentially see him coming back to Tottenham. But I'd love to see him back, and I know a lot of people won't, and a lot of people do. But I think he's a top quality player. He's shown it at Brentford this season. And since he's come into that Brentford side, in that position, he's been one of the best in the Premier League. So bring him in is what I say. Next up, let's talk about Steven Bergwijn. Not new news here, but Romano is talking, and he said that there are serious chances for Bergwijn to leave Tottenham in the summer. As Perisic is joining the club too, the plan is still the same. Ajax have his name in the list since January, but there are many clubs interested in him, and the race is still open. So we're expecting a bit of a bidding war for Bergwijn this summer.
Yeah, hopefully a few clubs come in for him and we can get something over the line, because I think it's time that we cut ties at this point, because I don't think he's happy here. He wants more game time. I don't think he's performed to the level we really need or wanted or expected over that period of time. So it's probably best for everyone. He's been here 2.5 years now. So it's unfortunate because I like him, but I think if we get some money for him, get some new blood in the forward line, that's probably best for everyone.
Yeah, unfortunately so. I'd have to agree with you there. Next up, Harry Winks. Sports OP says Spurs have told Harry Winks they will listen to offers for him this summer, and they're looking for a transfer fee in the region of £20 million. Do you think that's a transfer fee that's realistic for Spurs to get this summer for Harry Winks?
Yeah, around that ballpark. Maybe between 15 to 20. I don't think that's unrealistic. I think he can probably get a Premier League move for that amount of money. I know he hasn't been great. You got to remember he's English international centre mid, who maybe if you put him in the right team could be a lot better. And maybe, although he's not good enough for what we need, he might be good enough for a lot of other Premier League players. So, yeah, I think it is fairly. I don't think it's completely unrealistic that transfer fee.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's probably a fair price. You know, you're talking about English tax as well. You're talking about a player who has shown promise in his career, but it's obviously stagnated a lot in the past couple of years. And I think that he needs a fresh challenge, because I do think there's a player in there for Harry Winks. I just think his time at Tottenham is more than done. And it's been done for a few years now. So I think under a fresh challenge, maybe in the lower end of the Premier League, you know, the Evertons, the Southamptons, these kind of clubs will get a tune out of him. And I think that's kind of his level, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. So I think there's a place for him, but just not at Tottenham anymore. He's stagnated.
The last bit of news we've got for you is about Heung-min Son. Ali Gold was saying yesterday that Liverpool were considering a big bid for Sonny this summer if Tottenham had not finished in the top 4. What do you make out of that? I mean, there was no chance we were ever going to accept a bid from Liverpool.
No, but his head could have been turned if we don't finish again in the top 4. I'll be 3 years out. I know he just signed a contract last year, but you know, it's a bit like Kane. I don't think Kane wanted to leave either, but he just felt like he couldn't achieve his goals at Tottenham anymore. And maybe if we would have finished outside the top 4 and things would have gone wrong, you know, Conte would have left or something like that, you never know. Maybe his head would have been turned, and a bid from Liverpool definitely had the... I'm not saying definitely would have, but definitely would have had the capability of unsettling him. That's why getting us top 4, that's why us getting top 4 was so crucial, to stop all these kind of murmurings and potential outcomes happening. So I think as much as it would have been unlikely either way, even if we would have finished outside the top 4, I do believe it would have been unlikely anyway. You just never know what could have happened if Liverpool would have come in from had we finished outside the top 4. So I'm just happy that we did, and we could put that to bed. Absolutely, and obviously with Mane going out the door, exactly, that left an option there. But how much do you reckon would be enough to price Sonny away from Spurs when you're thinking about all the kind of revenue he brings in from South Korea and stuff like that? Just signed a contract last year. I mean, you're talking surely in excess of 120, 130 million pounds. Yeah, it must be at least. It must be. And given that he's going to be 29 next season, is he worth that to Liverpool, considering Mane's just gone 30, so he'll be very similar age? You have to question that, but yeah, you would have to pay top dollar for him. No chance we're letting him go for at least 120. Well, that's all the transfer stories we've got for you today. Let's get through the super chats, and then we'll bring the stream to an end. Wolfsfire with the super chat says, I predict Spurs higher finish than Liverpool next season in the Premier League. Would you make out of that? Higher finish than Liverpool? Well, with Mane leaving, you never know. No, I don't think so. I think will be interesting to do if Liverpool replace Mane, who they sign, because obviously Diaz is already there. There is a possibility they sign no one and just go with the front three of Diaz, Salah and Jota or Firmino or something like that. But I do expect them to try and at least replace him. And if they do it adequately, then they'll have no problem finishing above us again. If I was Liverpool, I would even consider Eriksen as well, if I was them. Yeah, in central midfield. Yeah, because he could be a big quality. He's just top quality. I mean, he would get into any team. I really believe that. Or he can get into any team.
Richard Blackdog with the super chat. Big up, Richard. And he says, does ENIC and Levy's recent U-turn concern you? All signs hint at JL selling the club. I just don't trust ENIC and Levy to put the fans' happiness ahead of business profits. Paranoia or psychic?
So you'd rather they carried on the way they were, just so with the comfort of knowing, okay, that's how they operate, and I just like it that way. As long as you keep doing that, don't change, because that's what I'm comfortable with. It's better the devil you know than the devil you don't, I guess. That's what he's saying. But no, look, I'm hoping it's a change of ways. There's a change of operating that ENIC haven't done previously. And I think it's about time. So I think I'm cautiously excited or cautiously optimistic about their new approach. And if it really is genuinely about backing Conte, I'm hoping so. But you never know with this board, and they do have the ability to pull the wolf under our eyes. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think I'm hopeful that what they've been doing recently is a step in a new direction.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I'm quite confident that it is. As much as, have had my reservations about Levy and ENIC in the past. I mean, they've never done anything like this, and it would be suicide to announce something like this and not follow through on it. It would be absolute suicide. So I can't believe that they would make a big announcement like that and then not actually follow through on it. Can you imagine if they announce like next week that we've acquired something for like 150 million, like 5 golf courses around England? You know what I mean? Like
riots.
Exactly. So I can't not believe that this isn't going towards transfers, or a big chunk of it going towards transfers anyway. And it's not like they absolutely needed the money within the club as well, because the club's generating big revenues now with the stadium, with Champions League, with the TV rights and everything like that. So this £150 million, if they want to, invest stuff, they've got money to invest it. They don't need to invest that 150 million within the club.
I agree. Yeah, it's true.
So let's move on. The Lion Sam says, we can speculate and air opinions, but there are lots of reasons to trust those making decisions. In my opinion, no to Eriksen.
I mean, that's fair enough. I understand people's reservations about Eriksen. I really do. Do you really want a player with those health issues and stuff like that that he's had in the past around the club? Should we go back to a player that previously tried his best to get out of the club for one reason or another? All these different things. But I just think for me, I'm just basing on what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing from Eriksen is top level, like better than he's been for years. He looks back to his best. He looks reinvigorated, and maybe he can get a renewed motivation at Tottenham, and I don't see why not. He says he's ambitious, he wants to challenge for big things and trophies and stuff, and I think he can do that at Tottenham now. We've got Conte. He's played under Conte before. We're back in Champions League football, so why not? Why couldn't it work out?
Absolutely. A super chat from Ben Roplum says, hungover, come on you Spurs. Big up, Ben. It was good seeing you last night, and I'm also a bit hungover today as well, so we're suffering together. Frankly Tottenham with a super chat saying, lads, we should go all in for James Ward-Prowse, and with Perisic on board, Eriksen would be a great maintenance player.
And yeah, if we get Eriksen as well, that's another free transfer. The only problem is, if we're getting Eriksen and we're getting Perisic and Forster, we are increasing the age of the squad quite significantly with those 3 deals. So the other deals would have to be definitely a younger profile. I wouldn't want to get any more players who are on the wrong side of 30.
You're looking at Bastoni, you're looking at Spence, all players.
And then the striker would have to be fairly young as well. Maybe a Scamacca who's 23 or something. So that's one thing, but if you get Perisic and Eriksen both on a free, improving the squad, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think it's important to get a mixture of experience and youth. And the experience that we do bring in need to be that good, like a Perisic that's been there, that's done it, that's got the T-shirt, and that can perform in big games. And as well with James Ward-Prowse, maybe he hasn't done that, but he's got attributes that this squad need. So I'd love to bring him in.
We've still got some young players as well. We've got Sessegnon, Kulusevski, Skip, Romero. So we do have quite a good, decent, like Bentancur is still 24. He's pretty young as well. So we do have good young players as well. Maybe we need some more on the forward line. Just in, with Son and Kane approaching 30, probably need a couple there to boost the numbers in the forward line. But yeah, look, we do have a good crop of young players coming through as well, which people seem to forget.
Yeah, absolutely. As well as, the likes of like Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett, who haven't had a look in yet, obviously. But very young players. Both of them about to go on loan again. Well, Dane Scarlett for the first time. But Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett are both players that Spurs fans should be excited about.
Definitely.
Especially when you're looking at Troy Parrott, who probably had his first successful loan spell of his career last season at MK Dons. I'm really excited to see what he can bring next season, hopefully in a championship loan. And Dane Scarlett, I mean, every manager that comes in talks about him in such a positive light. I can't wait to see what he can produce on a loan spell.
Mike McGrath is claiming that Perisic's deal could be worth 180 grand a week.
180 grand a week.
That's what he's
That's
claiming.
a lot of money.
Some sources, Dan Kilpatrick saying 100 grand, and Mike McGrath saying 180. But maybe people are getting confused between net and gross, because with tax it's nearly 45-50%, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it could be 180, and then obviously after tax is about 100.
Could be, yeah.
So it could be that.
But I think that's all we have today, unless you have anything else to talk about.
No.
All right, so we'll leave it there, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We've got 1,600 people with us at the moment, so big up to all you guys out there. Don't forget to scroll down, smash that like button, and smash that subscribe button. We'll be back for more content. And just before we let you go, apparently Paul O'Keefe has confirmed that it's 98 grand a week for Perisic. So we'll see how everything else plays out. Hopefully we'll have some announcements to talk about this week, and let's hope we have some more deals about some more players a la Bastoni and Spence to talk about this week as well. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.